Logos binted.
What?
The world of Pokemon is no stranger to the supernatural. This is a series about catching strange and fantastical creatures, but there have also been many occult encounters across the franchise that can't be explained by Pokemon. The various paranormal ghost encounters that can be found across the Pokemon franchise have been documented and explored many times before, but this October I want to dive into another kind of strange encounter. You could call it a third kind. I was planning to wear this for the whole video, but tinfoil hats are actually a lot noisier than you might realise, so I'm just gonna just pretend I'm wearing it the whole time. For centuries, mankind has looked up to the stars in the night sky and wondered if we truly are alone. The idea of life existing on other worlds has been explored in many works of science fiction, but this idea even dates as far back as 300 BC with the Greek philosopher Epicurus. The concept of alien life has also been explored in the Pokemon franchise in many ways, but it's actually a lot more prominent than you might realise, because the concept of alien invasion has been shaping the course of the Pokemon world for the past 15 years. I've also wanted to shiny hunt for some alien Pokemon for a while, so I thought this would be a good excuse to dive into this topic and see if I can connect the dots on this conspiracy. Aliens have technically been canon in Pokemon from the very beginning. Starmie and Staryu are implied to have come from outer space, and Clefairy and Clefable are said to have come from the moon, even having their own genuine UFO in early episodes of the anime. And in the Hoenn region, Solrock and Lunatone also have Pokedex entries that imply an extraterrestrial origin. But this generation also gave us a much more explicitly alien Pokemon. Heralded by an apocalyptic meteor, Deoxys is an alien virus that mutated into an intelligent and aggressive shape-shifting life form. Nothing is ever directly stated about Deoxys' intentions, but I've always gotten the impression that Deoxys has the potential to be even more destructive than the meteor itself. When it was introduced, Deoxys simultaneously held the records for the highest attack, special attack and speed, as well as the third highest special defense and sixth highest physical defense. Even now, the special attack of Deoxys is only rivaled by Mega Evolutions, and Regieleki is the only one to surpass it on raw speed. This is balanced in-game by Deoxys only being able to maintain one form at a time, choosing between defense, normal, attack, and speed. But in the anime, we see it's fully capable of altering its own biology at will, instantaneously shifting between forms to suit its present needs, as well as regenerating and even self-replicating like a virus would. In terms of my favourite mythical Pokemon, Deoxys has to be in my top 3. In part due to how it broke the mold on what a mythical could be. Mew, Celebi and Jirachi all feel like they're cut from the same cloth, as while they're all unique designs with their own themes and backgrounds, they could easily be grouped together as floaty pixies with cute chibi proportions, design elements that would also be carried on with Manaphy and Victini. But Deoxys is straight up a creepy humanoid alien with no mouth and sunken eyes, and the ability to rapidly evolve and modify their own body is a classic trope for alien invaders in sci-fi horror. The Thing would have to be the most famous example, and I have a feeling that it might have been a direct inspiration. The Pokedex in Fire Red says that it can alter its appearance for the purpose of confusing or deceiving its enemies, and its first official debut in the franchise is Deoxys being discovered by a group of Arctic researchers. In its base form, it has 2 tentacles for arms on each side of its body, but in its original battle sprite, we see it forming those tentacles into a human hand that's reaching out towards us, almost like it sees a human for the first time and its immediate instinct is to mimic. Copying its form and adapting its best traits, assessing its enemy, learning. Ooh, yes! Shiny Deoxys! I gotta change this up 1 second. I'm not 100% sure what I want to catch this in actually. I feel like the yellow colour does fit for Ultra Ball, which is a fairly reasonable ball to try and catch it in. I think I might try a few luxury balls as well though, because I just like using those. And of course I do have Master Ball as a backup, because I don't want to fail this. This took me almost 12,000 resets so far, so I don't want to go back to that. Alright, this is it. Last luxury ball. Two shakes. It's wild that the Ultra Ball isn't even going to be that much more successful. It's got from like a 1.6% to a 4.3. Come on, is this it? Ah, finally. That took way too long. That was at least 20 minutes. Ah, man. Shiny Deoxys. Let's go. Honestly, I have no idea what to guess for nature. I'm just gonna say... I'm just gonna say serious. Deoxys is very serious. And it's also its defense form in this game. Because before Generation 4, Deoxys' form was entirely dependent on what game version you were in. So I'm pretty sure it's attack in Fire Red, it's normal in Ruby Sapphire, defense in Leaf Green, and then speed was introduced for Emerald. So what nature is this? Quirky, okay. Still neutral nature, but yeah, quirky. Generation 3 had a lot of references to space if you think about it. The same city that features Solrock and Lunatone as the gym leader's signature Pokemon is also home to the region's space program. And Jirachi, the other Gen 3 mythical, also has elements of a shooting star in its design to go along with its wishing theme. And while Deoxys was relegated to an event-exclusive island with no relevance to the story of Generation 3, we'll come back to this one later. In the Unova region, we also get another alien-inspired Pokemon, this time paying homage to the prevalence of extraterrestrial encounters in American urban legend. This actually isn't the first Pokemon based on an American alien sighting though. In 1955, a Kentucky family claimed that after a bright light descended from the sky, their house was sieged overnight by aliens, describing them as small goblin-like creatures with big shiny eyes, pointy ears, clawed hands, and short legs. And while it's not intended to be from outer space, this description is apparently what inspired the design of Sableye. But Elgyem and Beheeyem are more directly based on various descriptions and depictions of aliens in classic science fiction. Elgyem is a little green man, believed to have crash-landed in the desert 50 years ago, likely in reference to the New Mexico Roswell incident. The lights on its fingers evoke elements of E.T., and the Pokédex entry for Beheeyem describes using these lights to communicate, potentially in reference to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And the use of three colours together like this might be referencing the design of the aliens in the War of the Worlds movie. Not the one with Ice Cube, the original one, from 1953. It evolves into Beheeyem at level 42, potentially another science fiction reference, and I like how this evolution also invokes some elements of a top-secret government agent, with its trenchcoat-like body and connected eyes that could be seen as sunglasses. This idea is also another common trope in alien conspiracies, that a man in black from the government will show up to interrogate you, threaten you, or even erase your memories in order to cover up all evidence of an alien encounter. Except in this case, it's actually the alien making sure that its own existence is kept secret. Ooh, whoa! Shiny Elgyem! That was actually stupid fast. I only started hunting this like an hour ago. Oh, that is cool. I was starting to get worried that this would take a lot longer than I initially thought it would, because in addition to not having double grass to have double encounters, you also can't ride your bike in the Celestial Tower, because I guess it's taboo to ride your bike in what is essentially a graveyard, but thankfully Alien just shows up right away, so let's go. Got him. It's another alien down. Alright, let's see what we got. Can I get a second quirky alien? Because that would be kind of funny. It is Bashful. Okay. Somewhat of a clown. It's two neutral natures. I don't know if that means anything. I mean, probably not. Man, Elgyem and Beheeyem are so cool. Part of me really wanted to use Beheeyem for the badge quest video, but Reuniclus is also really cool, and I'm glad I was able to come up with this alien theme to give myself an excuse to come back and hunt this too. So, best of both worlds. Got them both now. Right, I should probably evolve this too, actually. Let's do that. There is one other potential alien in Generation 5 though, and it's not one that you might expect. The creatively named Giant Chasm in Unova is a giant chasm just north of Lacanosa Town. According to a local legend, the chasm was formed a long time ago from the impact of a meteor. Shortly afterwards, people started to go missing in the night, abducted by some kind of monster that came from the north, bringing with it a cold wind that could freeze your bones. Based on that description, it would appear they were talking about Kyurem, which can be found in Giant Chasm during the postgame. However, as far as we're told in Black and White 2, Kyurem isn't an alien. It's what remains of the legendary dragon from universe history after it was split into Reshiram and Zekrom. Perhaps after this separation, Kyurem crash-landed down near Lakanoza Town and was merely mistaken for a meteor. But then again, if there never was a real meteor, it does seem unusual that Clefairy, Solrock and Lunatone were drawn to the giant chasm. Maybe the assumptions about Kyurem being the remains of the original dragon are actually all wrong. Its ability to fuse with Reshiram and Zekrom might seem like solid evidence. But then again, what other Pokemon do we know of that has the power to change forms by altering its own DNA? Whether or not Kyurem is actually an alien, this is the beginning of a strangely recurring theme of alien invasion, or in broader terms, the fear of threats from beyond our world. While absent from X and Y, the next time this shows up is briefly in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. The post-game Delta episode revolves around the arrival of a world-ending meteor. Zinnia tells you that the Draconids predicted this event, based on a pattern of similar meteor strikes that her people recorded in the past. Meteors that shined with a rainbow brilliance, as if some great life was held within. And after using Mega Rayquaza to destroy the meteor before it can hit the planet, we see that it just so happens to be carrying Deoxys with it. And in Generation 7, this theme is perhaps at its most obvious. Sun and Moon introduces us to the Ultra Beasts, apex predators hailing from strange, hostile realities, empowered by extra-dimensional energy, and whose very presence would threaten the balance of the Alolan ecosystem, and perhaps even the fabric of reality itself. The Ultra Beasts might be one of my favourite things about Generation 7. The fact that they aren't technically Pokemon gave them a license to go completely off-script with how they designed them, while still keeping the same kind of concepts and inspirations that you might expect from a Pokemon. To fit with the idea of them threatening the ecosystem, and as a play on the idea of invading aliens, the Ultra Beasts are mostly designed after invasive species or pests that are hard to control, such as mosquitoes, cockroaches, and bamboo. Pokemon Go also did these designs some incredible justice when they debuted a few years ago, with each one getting a promotional video stylized like extraterrestrial found footage, and I can highly recommend looking them up. I've already shiny hunted for most of the Ultra Beasts as part of Gremlin Gremlin's Wormhole Wednesday, as well as Necrozma during DA weekend, but for this video I decided to focus on the very first Ultra Beast, and the one that directly kicks off the events of Sun and Moon, UB-01 Symbiont, also known as Neolago. Ooh, shiny Neolago. Okay, I know this looks like I got it way under odds, but I haven't had a counter set up for this. I only just set it up today. I've been hunting this maybe like for a couple days before this, but yeah, we can just pretend that I got this in 28 encounters. Let's go. I mean, honestly, I like using the Beast Balls on the Ultra Beasts. I know some people avoid them because it's too easy or whatever. But the Beast Ball is just a really cool ball, and it is literally made for the Ultra Beasts. It has a whole Ultra Wormhole effect when you send them out. So I feel like that's just kind of what I have to go for, honestly. I mean, Luxury Ball, kind of cool as well, but I mean, specifically for the alien theme, I think it's got to be a Beast Ball. Alright, I also actually know what I'm naming this one. Let's nature gas as well. I'm kind of liking the neutral natures, so let's just say quirky. It is attack up, speed down. Is that brave? Yeah, brave. Awesome. That's another alien down. And to maybe ruin the magic a little bit, this is also me done with the hunts. I was originally only going to do these first 3, but since I got Elgyem so fast, I was thinking I could probably fit in a 4th one. And then I got the 4th one pretty much immediately as well, which is going to be later in the video, but you'll see it. At this point, I've also only got 3 other Ultra Beasts I need to hunt, actually. I've just ended up doing most of them over the course of Wormhole Wednesdays. I think I need Blacephalon, I need Pheromosa, and then I'm going to have to do the soft reset for Point Ball. Now, you might think that this is where it all ends, and that the vague allusions to aliens in Generations 5 and 6 were merely foreshadowing for the arrival of the Ultra Beasts. But it doesn't stop there. After Sun and Moon came Sword and Shield, And wouldn't you know it, the main backstory of the Galar region is also directly tied to the arrival of an extraterrestrial. In the Crown Tundra DLC, the Max layer is the site of yet another meteor that fell thousands of years ago, containing yet another alien lifeform. And while Eternatus can't rewrite DNA like Deoxys and Kyurem, it actually shares a significant trait with the Ultra Beasts. Whenever you encounter one of the Ultra Beasts in the wild, it will immediately boost one of its stats, which is a result of the energy they absorb from Ultra Space. This is notably the same effect that happens when you encounter a totem Pokemon, and it's confirmed in-game that this is also due to exposure to Ultra Space energy. This same energy also empowered broken pieces of Necrozma that fell through Ultra Space when its light was taken, turning them into Z crystals and the sparkling stones used to make Z rings. The whole island trial format is also designed to replicate the legend of a trainer who fought off Necrozma when it first appeared in Alola, meaning it directly shaped a large portion of the region's culture and development. And the plot of the game only happened because the Ultra Beasts are drawn to the energy it left across the region. And in the same vein, Eternatus is directly responsible for the Dynamax phenomenon. So-called Galar particles released from its Eternamax form are the source of the power spots where Pokemon can Dynamax. And, just like Necrozma and the Z crystals, the wishing pieces you find across the region, and the wishing stars used in Dynamax bands are broken fragments of Eternatus from the darkest day. The energy from Eternatus is even able to attract Ultra Beasts to Galar, in the same way that Z-Power does in Alola, as after finishing the main story of the Crown Tundra, an Ultra Wormhole opens directly above the Max layer. Considering that all of the major cities in the region are built around these power spots so the gyms can use them for battling, as well as each city being dependent on the Galar particles for energy, this is yet another region that had the entire path of its civilization altered by an extraterrestrial. The native Pokemon in Galar were also afflicted by this too, with some of them developing unique moves and appearances when they Dynamax, instead of just being bigger versions of themselves. And wouldn't you know it, but one of these Gigantamax forms just so happens to embody something that's undoubtedly alien. Ooh! Shiny Orbital. What was that, 310? That's not bad, actually. I feel like they're being a lot nicer to me after Deoxys went to, what was that, like 12k? I mean, a Beast Ball would be pretty awesome for this, but the catch rate is so low, and I've only got 4 of them. I don't really want to waste any. Yeah, you know what, let's throw 1. Nope. It was worth a shot. There we go. Alright, let's oh yeah, I can also mark check this, because there is a small chance that it has a mark. To peel back the curtain a little bit on this one, I actually haven't hunted Neolego yet. I made a start on this one yesterday, and I was thinking it would take a bit longer to do, because I was going to try and get the big... I was trying to go for a big KO combo to hopefully get the brilliant shiny chance. So you can see I've actually been like knocking out all of the Orbital I've been encountering. But I'm pretty sure that wasn't a brilliant one, so I guess I was wasting my time. Alright, but am I going to get another neutral nature? I don't know what nature Neolego is because I haven't caught it yet. But if they all end up being different neutral natures, that would be pretty wild. Impish. That's... Nope. Special attack down. Now, does it have a mark? No mark. Darn. That would have been pretty cool if it had a mark. But yeah, I mean, like without, you know, mark boost sandwiches or whatever, it's not as easy as in Scarlet and Violet. Orbital itself doesn't inherently have any particular alien theme to it. Blipbug evokes the stereotypes of a bookish nerd, before receding into its cocoon and emerging as a scheming mad scientist type. I wouldn't know what that's like. And while I'm not personally a big fan of most Gigantamax designs, I do think Orbital is one of the more creative and interesting ones. This is clearly the most classic depiction of a flying saucer-type UFO that you could possibly imagine, and I can't help but connect that to the fact that the entire Dynamax phenomenon is itself an alien technology. And while this is almost the end of the video, I'm still not quite finished, because the essence of this theme even bleeds into the narrative of Scarlet and Violet. Now, I'm not saying that the Paradox Pokemon are aliens, because a culture has already made that claim for me, suggesting that Iron Moth and Iron Shreds are weapons and scouts created by aliens. While the exact nature of the Paradox Pokemon is a completely separate topic, it's clear that they serve a similar role as the Ultra Beasts, representing the fear of a powerful and unknown threat from beyond our world. And if you want to get even more on the nose with it, consider the fact that all of the Paradox Pokemon are encountered in a literal crater. Now, the big question is, what does this all mean? Honestly, I don't have a solid answer for that. Maybe Shigeru Omori, who has been directing and producing on every title since Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, simply has a deep love for science fiction. Maybe the Pokemon Company doesn't want regular Pokemon to be used as antagonists anymore, requiring the creation of other groups like Paradoxes and Ultra Beasts. Or maybe I'm just looking too deep, and I'm finding connections where none really exist. I will say though, Legends EA announcing a DLC called Mega Dimensions certainly isn't hurting my case either, and I honestly think the Ultra Beasts might even play a role in it. While every legendary could be brought into Sword and Shield, the only ones absent from Scarlet and Violet after Indigo Disc are the Gen 6 legendary trio, the Tapus, Type Null, and Silvally, as well as all of the Pokemon officially recognised as Ultra Beasts. This might not mean anything, but I think it's worth mentioning, considering that a large number of Generation 4 Pokemon felt intentionally left out of Sword and Shield before we knew about Legends Arceus and BDSP. And while Xerneas, Yveltal, and Zygarde will obviously play some important role in Legends EA, it's interesting that the only other missing legendaries are the Guardian Deities who protected Alola from the Ultra Beasts, and a legendary that was directly created as a Beast Killer. Either way, I'm sure I'll be finding out very soon with Legends EA right around the corner, so be sure to subscribe and find out if I'm right. I don't really do subscriber shoutouts very often, but I just hit 10k, so I'm feeling pretty good about it, so subscribe, make the number go up. You can also join the channel to get early access to videos like this one, and every channel member gets me slightly closer to affording a better lab coat. That's about as good as I'm going to get for live action, honestly. This is exhausting. I don't like being on camera. Put me back in the screen. I want to be digital again. Being in the real world's scary.
That was brilliant, CannedWolfMeat. Very much enjoyed